Pathmonk is the intelligent tool for website lead generation. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50%. Add Pathmonk to your website in seconds. Let the AI do all the work and get access to 50% more qualified leads while you keep doing marketing and sales as usual. Check us on pathmonk.com. Welcome to today's episode. Let's talk about today's guest. We have Stan Wasowicz from Scotty AI, co-founder with them. How are you doing today, Stan?
Really good, and it's so pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you on, and I'm sure our listeners are tuning in, Stan, wondering what Scotty AI is all about. So in your own words, tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, we like to categorize ourselves as an AI agent orchestration platform. We are focused on automating knowledge work, human labor, really, in business-to-business processes. And we found a really interesting niche in the talent acquisition and HR space where our solution can solve a lot of problems, save a lot of money, and improve experience for everyone involved by a lot.
Definitely important. And so that way, so our listeners who are tuned in could get a good understanding there of Scotty AI. Stan, what would you say is that key problem then that you guys like to solve for clients?
Yeah, it's really simple than that. So employers are saying they can't find talent, and talented people are saying they can't find a job. And if the recruitment and HR industry looks at themselves honestly, then they very quickly come to the conclusion that it's actually them. I would say us. I've been part of this industry for over a decade and a half. Or one of the main problems there, if you honestly ask anyone, if it's a hiring manager or it's someone trying to find a job, do they really want to talk to recruiters? They will like say no. They see them as a necessary evil, standing between them and making a hire or landing a job. Yes, they're being nice to the recruiters and the HR people because they wanted to prioritize them. But if they find something quicker, better, faster, cheaper, they are super quick to move over to that type of solution. And with the massive advancement that's have been happening technologically in AI, we believe that we are one of those solutions.
That's awesome to hear. I think there's a lot of people that are interested in something like that. So great to hear that from you. So then, is there a certain vertical segment that you guys like to go for only, or is it pretty broad?
You can go extremely broad with a platform like ours, right? When in the startup phase, we have actually done really good business in a plethora of use cases. Museum that want to get their guests, get more information about the artwork being deployed. Housing corporations, government entities that are trying to get information from the constituents, etc. But right now, we found out that in that recruitment and HR space, the problem is so extremely evident. Everyone can relate to it very quickly when you talk about their latest job search or recruitment or hiring experience. And they're really focusing on that now. The riches are the niches, as they say. And in that specific segment, the bigger, the better, and it's where we can make the most impact with the same solution. So we're pretty much whale hunting right now. Like most of our pipeline and most of our customers are publicly listed companies with more than 10,000 FTE, but the biggest one that I'm working on now, that I just closed actually last week, has 358,000 FTE. Global corporations, multiple languages, hiring for similar roles in high volume across 50 countries. That's super interesting for us because these are usually businesses that will have a small army of recruiters that aren't really recruiting. To give you a very simple example, the business I'm speaking about, we're going to start in Germany. In just their east area of the country, they get 70,000 applicants. They need to be processed by what's now a team of 37, what's called recruiters. But 32 of those people aren't really recruiting. My CTO likes to call them human routers. There's other nice way to call them, but they pretty much do a router's work. They will pick up the phone and they will call people that have applied, usually hours after that's happened, sometimes days. More than 90% of the time, those people have already found something else or don't even pick up anymore, right? And then it's like, hey, Ernesto, are you Ernesto? Are you allowed to work in Germany? Can you lift 15 pounds? Are you available those and those days? Can you be there and there at that point in time? Well, our AI can automate it completely. So by plugging us in for less than 40 grand, they can let go of 32 people doing those jobs, saving 1.6 million in payroll. And don't get me wrong, man, I'm not celebrating the job loss, but it is a fact. AI is replacing human labor, is replacing knowledge work. And it's something that's happening and being embraced because it also offers a far, far greater experience for the key stakeholders involved. And those hiring managers that have people in the spot that you need them to be far more quickly. But for those 70,000 candidates, it means that they apply and literally within a minute of their application, they're either on the phone speaking to our AI or texting or WhatsApping with our AI, going through the exact same process. And max 4 minutes later, they're either scheduled in with a hiring manager, sometimes still a recruiter in the middle, but in many cases, just a site manager or a hiring manager, or they know why they have been rejected, which is a hard, usually, criteria. They live too far away. They aren't available for the hours. They don't have a driver's license. They don't, et cetera, et cetera. That's why if we look at the NPS scores that we measure, the candidate experience scores that we measure, over 47 of the candidates give us 5 out of 5 stars. 41% gives us 4 out of 5, significantly outperforming the human experience. And mind you, we're talking about rejected candidates mainly, still in this measurement, because they get instant understanding of what where they stand. And I think that's a beautiful thing that we can do. For the first time, also in the since the invention of SaaS and technology, we can really start creating technology that optimizes for the people we're trying to serve. In this specific case, the hiring manager and the candidate, but in very other different sectors, industries, verticals, most of the technology built has been built for the people in the middle, right? Standing in between the actual end users, the end beneficiaries. And I think AI can play a big part in disrupting that, shaking that up for the better.
Definitely, yeah, it's a very important, right? I mean, like you mentioned, it's not looking to make less jobs. It's just being efficient in finding, filtering those through 70,000 people. I mean, it's tough. So definitely got some good things there at Scotty AI. So then how would somebody then usually find out about Scotty AI? Is there a top client acquisition for you guys?
Yeah, definitely. And it's the channel, it's partnerships. I've been in GTM all of my career, and I've seen us go through, I would say, 3 phases. I would say phase 1 with the invention of CRM, Salesforce leading the charge, was approaching the customer, was pushing content information. You could be the shittest, hottest rep, hitting quota every year in 1999, just using your BlackBerry, probably your Rolodex, and driving around and flying around the country. But then some kid out of uni, straight out of uni, that really got CRM, could outperform you quickly because they could just manage many, many more opportunities much more efficiently and effectively. That then migrated into this area of inbound, where we stopped pushing and we started pulling customers toward you, right? HubSpot leading the charge and Marketo and everyone jumping on board with that. But now that we're reaching the end of cookies and everyone's using AI to automate these hyper-personalized messages, and it goes at unprecedented scale, and I think a new era is emerging. Reveal, our partner collaboration tool, coined this Nearbound, which is all about surrounding your customer and, entrenching yourself into the ecosystem that your customer is really leveraging, really finding out how to articulate those joint value propositions. And my specific value proposition is set up perfectly for that, because I can completely disrupt what these recruitment process outsourcing firms, staffing firms are currently doing, how they deliver value. I can completely transform and improve how all the different technology companies in my specific niche, applicant tracking system built to attract, select, and hire people, HR systems built to manage employees, how they deliver value. So my strategy is to white label the heck out of everything we're doing. I have no ego whatsoever when it comes to that piece, and actually have these companies amplify their value proposition significantly by plugging us in and saving themselves tremendously complex development. And that's been going pretty well. 75% of our current pipeline is partner driven, and we're just getting started. By the end of next year, we're still doing direct sales, but if everything plays out how I hope it will play out by the end, by this time next year, or definitely the end of next year, I would love to see at least 90 or 95% of our revenue coming from the indirect channel. And the rest is marketing. The rest is marketing. It's inbound. Event marketing has been really, really good to us because we're doing something quite disruptive. I've seen it work well to evangelize, to invest in the right events, the right communities, the right PR, the right webinars. And because we only have a few strong case studies now, being a startup, leveraging the heck out of those. But because we focus on large enterprise, pretty much every logo we close is attractive and involves people with really strong opinions and stories to share and strategies. So my strategy for next year will be very much customer driven case studies, putting our customers on the pedestal, putting them in the spotlight, and shopping those stories around the world through social media marketing and partner marketing and event marketing and PR.
Definitely important. All right, awesome. And so that way our listeners who are tuned in could go ahead and visit you guys. They could always check you out at scottytechnologies.com. What role then does the website currently play for the company?
It's enough of a role. It should be way more powerful. If you listen to what our technology is doing, then you can also imagine how incredibly impactful this can be for websites, right? Since we can have a conversation, to put things in perspective, in 140 languages, 500,000 conversations at a time, but it's a completely arbitrary number because we can scale that indefinitely. We're large language model agnostic. So whatever large language model our partners or our end customers want to use, they can leverage it on top of our platform. If you combine that with a website, then the website should be a conversational experience. And that's what I'm hoping to launch in the next 3 months. So when people do come to our website, it will be Scotty greeting them. I want to take it even a step further. And if they book a demo through the website based on the conversation they have with our AI on the website, I want them to come into those demos expecting a salesperson, but actually just seeing the AI. And I'm in the beta level already called Scotty for Sales, where you would come in and our AI would go, "Hey, Ernesto, I bet you expected a human here, but what better way for you to learn about an AI than speak to an AI? So, hey, what does you want to know about me? I can answer any question you might have." And then after a while of having that conversation, which can, by the way, also happen on our website, right? We'll try to trigger all the conversations on our website to ask about Scotty, but then Scotty at some point also flipping the script and go, "You know what, Ernesto? Seems like I've answered all of your questions. Can I ask a few things about you now?" And, through form tracking and data scraping, we will know what company you work for. We'll know your job title. We'll ask the bare minimum from you to start the conversation. But then we can make some assumptions. Hey, since you're a recruitment director at XYZ company, does this sound familiar to you? And can I ask you a few questions about it? And I'm a massive, massive fan of winning by design, of implementing. Are you familiar with those guys? The Silicon Valley-based SaaS scaling consulting company? Winning by design. They've got this spiced. Check them out. They're amazing. They got this spiced framework: situation, pain, impact, critical event, decision criteria, which is a framework to do B2B sales with, essentially. I'm teaching our AI all of that. The framework, the questions, the follow-up, and it's already showcasing in many cases more empathy and better listening skills than most salespeople. So if I can prove that I can sell a couple of million or even better, have our partners sell a couple of million of this solution by embedding Scotty AI on their websites, in their communication, and driving those conversations for them, without salespeople, then guess what roles I go after, after replacing recruiters? B2B salespeople. I think that's a market ready for overhauling as well, because if there's one type of role that people want to talk to even less, it's B2B salespeople. Because if there's one type of role that people want to talk to even less, it's B2B salespeople. Then recruiters and HR professionals, it's salespeople, right? But yeah, we're building that as we speak, and yeah, websites will play a huge part of that. If you go to my LinkedIn, you see that I wrote an article about sentient conversational first websites being not that far away, and I think we can actually make those happen with the technology that we have in front of us right now.
Definitely important. Okay, awesome to hear that. And so let's switch gears a little bit here, Stan, and let's talk about you as a leader. You being the co-founder there for Scotty AI. What are some key tasks that you like to focus on your day-to-day work?
Yeah. Well, I think that for the number one role of a leader is creating a North Star, creating a strategy, and then making sure that everyone that's working is working towards that, and creating a lot of focus, and then helping people understand that where we're going. So I think one of the number one things I do on a day-to-day basis is communicate this. Communicate, okay, why are you doing what you're doing? Being a startup, I'm still involved with many of these things. So if you look at day-to-day tasks, I mean, we've got a pretty elaborate event strategy with something happening almost every week in some country. That's also usually still me going there. So in the last 10 weeks, I was on a plane pretty much every week. This is actually the only week in the last quarter or so I haven't been outside of the country. So that's what I do a lot on a day-to-day basis, prepare with the marketing team for those events, the preparation, what's happening there, the follow-up. Then I'm very heavily involved still in the sales process. I'm still meeting with a lot of prospects, helping our solution design teams, our pre-sales teams that we're trying to set up as we speak. We didn't have before. Help them out, prep for their meetings. And then on the customer side, I had a head of customer success reporting to me, but I'm also quite involved there still. And in the meantime, my second big job is raising some money. We're going through a funding round right now. So anyone listening that's built a startup that's gone through it knows that it's almost like a separate job you add to your package. But yeah, that's what's mainly keeping me busy, man. All the growth related things, basically trying to sell what my co-founder and CTO has built to summarize it.
Definitely important. Okay, awesome. And let's jump into our next section then here, Stan, which is our rapid fire question rounds. Are you ready for them?
Heck yeah.
All right. First off then is, what is the last book that you read?
Oh, the last book that I read, Hacking Darwin. Quite incredible. It's about genetic engineering and how, the perfect storm that we're seeing in algorithms and in robotics, which is coming next. That's getting a lot of attention. But man, what we can do, I mean, you see Mr. Jensen from NVIDIA talk a lot about how we're now able to map the genome and proteins, and we're heading towards really weird times. And Hacking Darwin talks about those. It's pretty interesting.
Okay, interesting. All right, nice. Next then is, if there would be no boundaries in technology, what would be that one thing that you want to have fixed for your role as a marketer today?
I think the conversation, I think the entire conversation. So it's funny. It's not even as a marketer, but there's more what comes afterwards. I believe a lot of hyper personalization. I believe that everyone has. We talk about these target personas and target audiences, but actually, no one's exact needs are the same. No one's exact situation is the same. And I would like to be able to hyper personalize the experience, the content, the journey for everyone. And if technology, and I think technology is heading there, that to be able to deliver that, was able to do that, I would love to do that.
Definitely. Okay, awesome. Great to hear that. And lastly, I mean, you have a lot of experience already in the marketing world, Stan, but what is that one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were to restart your journey as a marketer today?
I would embrace technology sooner. I think I got into tech like 6 or 7 years into my my career. And if it was me as an 18, 19-year-old figuring out what to do, I would say, hey, man, whatever you do, go into tech because that's the future.
Definitely. Well, definitely would agree with that with us. And well, I mean, it has been a pleasure to have you on with us today, Stan. But before we do end, I do want to give you the last word. If someone forgets everything about the interview today, what is that one thing they should remember about Scotty AI?
AI is replacing human labor. It will make a massive impact. It'll be a, tool of destruction, but also a tool of creation. And Scotty AI will allow you to create a world you want to live in.
There you guys heard it. Check them out at scottytechnologies.com. Let Scotty do the talking. Stan, thank you so much for being on with us today. To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm looking forward to our next episode at Pathmonk Presents. Thanks a lot, Stan.
It was a pleasure. Thank you, Ernesto.